Hey, it's your old pal Slim, and this is 70mm, a podcast for film fans just like you. With me, as always, is my close friend and artist, Danny Haas.
Hello.
And our close friend and movie insider, Protolexis.
Beep, beep, SS Proto, on its way.
Every episode is connected to a theme for that month, and this time we're kicking off a new one, Torment-tober. Scary movies only. And to kick off the month, we have a joint pick, which is Stephen King's It from 1990. And you can use the chapters in your podcast app to skip right to that discussion. I'll spotlight a quick review before we get into it.
Spot 'em.
Scathing review. Divisive film so far in our community.
Yeah, seriously.
Tom left a review. Looking back to the legion of 6-year-olds who wouldn't shut up about, quote, "This was the scariest movie of all time. This movie ruined clowns for me. I can't look at a sewer drain anymore." End quote. You should all be embarrassed. Absolutely shameful behavior. Tim Allen does a good job as Pennywise, but his Herculean efforts buckle under the weight of the Spirit Halloween practical effects. This movie floats, but only in a toilet. Is Tom right? We'll find out.
That final line, Tom just put down his pen and smiled to himself, looked out the window.
Torment-tober. You heard it here first on this show.
We're here.
This is, can I be frank? This could be the biggest month in show history.
You said it.
Maybe the biggest. Just a reminder, Ahsoka discussion.
Oh, God.
In the uncut, just for supporters only. You can get access to our Ahsoka minisodes.
Are we all still watching that?
I think so.
Bart, did you watch it?
I did.
Okay, thank God. All right. Stay tuned. And we're doing something new this October. It's obviously going to be scary movies, but we're going to announce all of our picks. You know, right now. We're doing it. Right now. We're leading off the show with it.
What?
This has never been done.
God. What if I got cold feet?
One of the reasons why we did this is I didn't want to accidentally watch anyone's pick like this month.
Right.
You know?
It's a big month for everyone.
I want to blow our pick wad.
Oh, God.
So I'm actually leading off next week. So I'll announce my pick right now.
Let's hear it.
Let me pull it up real quick. Hold on a
So
second.
excited.
I know. Me too.
Streaming right now on Shudder.
Oh, God.
I had to go back. You know, I look back at our history on this show.
Mm-hmm.
We had a great time last year talking about a movie.
Oh, no.
And I think it's time to continue the journey together.
You did not.
Streaming on Shudder and Amazon Prime and a multitude of other places, directed by the great Tony Randall, Hellbound Hellraiser 2
Oh, my God.
is my pick for next week.
Holy cow.
Oh, baby.
Sheesh.
I had, obviously I've seen this before. I watched it after we did Hellraiser last year, and I had a great time watching the sequel. Hopefully we have a great time together talking about it next week.
How could we not?
You know?
I've been thinking about the line in your review for a whole year.
What's the line?
Comparing Hellraiser 2 to Return of the Jedi. I cannot wait to see what this is.
Quote, I realize this is an insane statement, but there was one scene towards the end with the Cenobites that was giving me major Return of the Jedi vibes.
Stupid. God.
So that's next week. Who wants to reveal their pick next?
Who's after you? Me or Proto?
You could go next.
Oh,
Danny.
I'm still not locked, so maybe
You're
you'll
still
help
not
me.
locked.
Jeez.
All right. I wanted to get out of modern horror and I wanted to go back to the past. Okay. And I really wanted something Technicolor. I wanted something in the Suspiria vein. So I'm going with And none of us have this logged, by the way.
Whoa.
1963. Mario Bava. Black Sabbath.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
Streaming on Plex US and Canopy. Boris Karloff. It's an anthology movie. 3
love it already.
stories.
Oh.
I'm very excited. 95 minutes. Kidding me?
Hell yes.
Black Sabbath.
This poster,
Mm-hmm.
the Headless Horseman. Oh my God.
This is one of the greatest posters in the history of film.
Mm-hmm. We're here.
Is Proto locked yet?
Ugh. All right. I feel like,
Oh man.
all right. Seeing what Slim has picked here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Hellraiser 2 from 1988. Danny, an anthology pick. 1963. I was considering an anthology pick.
Oh.
So with that in mind, I'm not going to pick that one, and I'm going to go with where my heart is telling me to go.
Yes.
And I really like this window. After we watched Hellraiser last year, I think this 80s 90s vibe.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I really like it. I mean, ever heard of it? We're going to get into it later.
Save it.
Same period. Save it. But there's another master of horror that I don't think we've covered on the pod.
Uh-oh.
And he released a movie also in 1988. So my pick is from the master himself, Wes Craven. The Serpent and the Rainbow.
Oh my
What
God.
on earth?
This stars Bill Pullman.
Bill.
And I saw that like not many people have this logged, but it has a good rating, 98 minutes long. It's streaming on Peacock.
Love it.
And I read a little bit about this movie, and
Yeah.
I felt like we have to go here.
We'll
see.
the description. Don't bury me. I'm not dead.
Oh, yes.
A Harvard anthropologist is sent to Haiti to retrieve a strange powder that is said to have the power to bring human beings back from the dead. In his quest, the cynical scientist enters the rarely seen netherworld of walking zombies. Based on the true life experiences of Wade Davis. Excuse me.
Yeah, this is real.
Excuse
My
me.
God.
True story.
Oh, that's where I've heard of this. Marcy in chat says this was on the Cursed film series on Shudder.
Mhm.
Like the filming of this movie was
I've
troubled.
watched that.
That is why this sounds familiar. Okay.
The composer of Terminator and Terminator 2. Brad
Okay.
Fiedel. True Lies, Fright Night, Johnny Mnemonic. This music better slap.
Is this, I mean, like I said at the top of the show, this
Huge
could
month.
be the biggest.
Yeah. Yeah.
The most important month in
Mhm.
our lives.
We did it. It's
Kyle
over.
Kyle in chat, a friend said this was the scariest movie he ever watched.
What?
Oh dear.
Sheesh.
Okay. So that's the month. We're set. You might realize that there's an extra month, not an extra month, extra week at the end of the month.
Oh.
Stay tuned,
Stay tuned.
patrons. My dear sweet supporters, stay tuned. Where do we go from here? Speaking of patrons, let's say hello to some new ones. Jan, Connor, and Casual Reed joined our Patreon this week. Got access to the VHS Village Discord, our uncut Ahsoka mini eps, uncut episodes, discounts on Danny's prints, and a whole host of other things, which escape me at the moment. There's a lot of good stuff in there. So if you're looking to listen to those episodes early, we can do so now on Spotify. Got our uncut episodes, all those goodies on Spotify as well, if you're into that. Danny, did you watch anything this week you want to talk about?
Yes, I did. Thank you for asking. No One Will Save You on Hulu.
It's time.
The new alien abduction movie with our dear, sweet Caitlin Deaver. A lot of negative reviews for this coming through. I'm not understanding why. But
Let it out.
I had a great time watching this film. I thought it was an incredibly fun time at the cinema. Well, excuse me.
On your couch.
on my chair because Hulu was too afraid to put this in the theaters when they should have. Incredible sound design, I thought, but there were so many moments that, I think you said it's either to me or in a review talking about their creative choices in this, but like there's so many like little things that I thought were smart and fun, and the beams of light in this kind of were incredible. Just how they did it through the house, and I think Caitlin's performance is awesome too, because I guess there's a little bit of a gimmick to it. I don't want to kind of spoil it, but she's incredible. And I just had a fun time watching it. I really wanted to see it in theaters after I saw it now, because the sound design kind of deserves the theater. I think the only kind of negative I have, I didn't really enjoy the design of the aliens. And I think maybe the budget kind of doesn't help. Just the CG of the aliens, I thought kind of got a little wonky at sometimes, but I think there were like 2 or 3 times where I kind of like was like, oh damn, that was awesome.
Yeah, like towards the end where you see some other different aliens, I thought those were the strongest alien designs.
Yeah, definitely. I
was pretty surprised like how soon. So like it follows Caitlin from Booksmart.
Right.
Folks might remember her from. She lives alone in this house, and then there's like the trailer was like Signs. I was like, is this like a Signs homage movie? Because you hear the alien walk on the roof and like by the windows, and I was like, oh, that's why I'm interested now. But like it happens soon into the movie, and you see the alien like
right away,
right away, up close, full frame. So that was kind of like those like decisions were like surprising to me. But there's like a couple other ones in the movie that were like, oh, that's an interesting choice. Where this is an interesting twist that I wasn't expecting. So like at the same time, it's like Signs, but at least in my opinion, it went in directions that I wasn't expecting. And the conceit, like some people were complaining in their reviews about like, there's no speaking in the movie.
Yeah, that was like the gimmick I was talking about.
Yeah, so like it's not like a spoiler, but a lot of people were complaining in reviews like the gimmick gets old after so and so. But those are the kind of things I appreciated.
I think I liked the no speaking because it kind of was tension building for me. Like I want to hear her say something, like what is happening, like yell at somebody or something.
Right.
I really liked that.
When's old Pro watching this? You still have Hulu or no?
Yeah, I do. I want to watch it. I plan to.
Yeah, it's just fun. I think the thing that I liked the best was it didn't waste any time. Like it's not a long movie at all.
93 minutes.
And it didn't waste time trying to like, oh, what's the alien out there? Like we'll show it to you in the first 5 minutes and then we'll get going with the story. And I liked the story, and I liked the ending quite a bit, and I thought it was a lot of fun. I think it's definitely a fun kind of addition to the alien abduction kind of.
We needed something fresh.
It hasn't been good since
we don't
Signs.
Ask for much out here. We don't ask for much.
Yeah, a lot of fun. Good time.
Brody, you watched a banger I saw.
I did.
All the President's Men.
Oh, I didn't talk about this last week?
No, that was...
No.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so this was... this is 1976. This is the story of the 2 journalists who kind of uncovered the Watergate scandal with President Nixon. So this is on the AFI list. I don't remember which number it was, but I'm like, I think this is, I have 5 movies left, I think. This is,
oh my gosh.
Like the 5th of the movie. Yeah. So I'm getting real close to completing this. This movie, there's parts of this that I love. Like this has scenes in an office, dudes in the 70s working in an office, answering telephones, typing on a typewriter, smoking cigarettes, cursing at each other, figuring out what's going to fit into the magazine, or to the newspaper, what gets cut. Oh my gosh, I love it. I love all of it. I think it kind of, I think it seems so, it's so true to what actually happened though. It seems that way, that the end of it was, it kind of started to like lose me just because of how it doesn't really have like a real heavy ending. You know, it kind of goes out with a whimper. At least that's what I thought. So I just didn't love the full movie. But I mean, the 70s, Robert Redford, Ratso, Dustin Hoffman.
What?
It's a good time.
I mean, you had a comment on his hair in your review.
Oh
right?
my gosh,
Dustin
his hair
Hoffman's
is diabolical. Yeah, it's like that hair. I don't even know how you even cut that. I don't know if you have to go to like a Satan's barber to get a cut like this, but it's like a mullet perm type of deal.
Yeah,
and like when he's walking, he has like this really brisk walk, and it's like flapping
bounces.
up and down.
Yeah.
It bounces on his head. It just made me sick.
I put in my review because I give this 4.5 stars. I was blown away by finding out that this movie came out 2 years after Nixon's resignation.
Wow.
Yeah.
Which just feels so close to it happening that I just wonder how it felt at the time.
Yeah,
watch
it's interesting to
this
think
movie.
that like a presidential scandal happens, and then 2 years later to get a movie this
With
true to
Redford
what
and-
happened.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's incredible. How about that scene where the 6-minute shot of Redford just on the phone?
Yeah.
Incredible
That's
stuff.
amazing.
Just a banger.
I don't know if I've ever seen All the President's Men. I don't think I have.
It's worth it just for the newspaper
Yeah.
set
the
alone.
70s stuff is making me feel things. as you
It
talk
reminded
about
me of like the scenes in Superman, like those scenes in The Office that I love so much. It's like that, but an extra half hour. It's awesome.
Can we face deep anyone on that photo that Paul posted? I mean, of Dustin?
Old Dustin.
Should Proto be face deeped on Dustin? We should talk about our date night that we had.
I'm
Proto.
waiting for it.
The big
Yeah.
date night in KOP, Pennsylvania. We had a early screening access to see Gareth Edwards' new movie, The Creator.
Mm-hmm.
Remember how we felt seeing this trailer in the teaser
Incredible trailer.
drop? Maybe the greatest movie trailer of all time. Would you say, Proto? Were you excited to see this in IMAX?
I was excited to see it in IMAX. I was excited to see it in general. I think seeing the trailer, I've seen Gareth Edwards' past movies, so I was hesitant in some way to believe. You know, I wanted to believe, help my unbelief, but I knew what I saw before, so I was a little concerned. You know, so let's see what happens, and rightfully so. I would say rightfully so.
I mean, I was no more concerned than when I saw you use an iPhone without a case.
You don't
as
have
you
a
were
case
sitting
on your
next to me.
iPhone?
I mean, I almost plotzed. Proto pulled out this pristine iPhone, no case.
The 15?
I'm on 15, yeah.
Jesus.
I mean, these people should be investigated. If you're using, if you're using, if you're using an iPhone without a case, I guess I'm a klutz.
No, listen,
I mean, the amount
listen.
of times I drop my phone, it falls in the car when I just get in my car.
Please
Bro's
let me
putting his
defend
hand up.
myself.
Okay, go ahead.
I am an avid case user. My previous phones always have a case on them. I ordered a case. It's coming. I have it right now. I have a screen protector, and I have the little guard for the back of my the lenses. You know, it's all protected. And then I do not let my children get anywhere near this phone, and they haven't thwarted that plan yet. So I think I'm okay. I'm doing everything right that I can do. You know.
I would love to live the no case life. Thomas brings up AppleCare. I have AppleCare, but I mean, it's $100. Like if you drop your phone, you're still paying $100 to have it fixed.
I ain't got it.
So, you know, there's no mystical free replacement AppleCare plan that I'm aware of, and if there is, it's probably more expensive. Some have said, let me just caveat
Oh, here
that.
we go.
Some have said that the amount you spend on screen protectors and cases
No,
could potentially add up to that $100 AppleCare
doesn't.
fee. I don't know if that's true.
it's not true.
I haven't done the numbers.
These people.
So anyway, back to The Creator.
Yeah.
Visually insane, I thought. Like I wrote my review, it was like Akira meets Platoon. You know, it goes in several directions I wasn't expecting. There's a lot of Vietnam, I feel like, allegories, maybe a little on the nose, or like, Americans in certain areas for war. I couldn't believe that it was only $80 million budget. Like Gareth Edwards is a
It was only
genius.
80 million?
80 mil. I think
Oh.
like a Haunting in Venice costs like 60 million. So like
That's
what are we
mustache
doing?
product alone.
What are people doing putting these movies together?
That's crazy.
Yeah, and the like on location shots, I mean, it really does look fantastic. It's totally worth seeing in the theater. Like you, it's one of those movies you gotta go see.
You
If you're
gotta.
going to see something. You gotta.
You gotta. I'm still not sold on Washington, personally. You know, I've talked at length.
Yeah.
You know, we talked about Tenet, you know, our infamous Tenet discussions on this very show in the
I don't
past,
remember him.
where I was vilified for realizing I left my keys in my Jeep during the movie and I had to run out and get them.
Still vilified.
Somehow that's Washington's fault.
I'm sure he didn't do anything to blow me away in that 90 seconds that I was gone. I did see Black Klansman,
Uh-oh.
Ismail. I think I liked that. It didn't blow me away or anything. But, you know, I think Proto and I also had script issues, but I'm still glad Gareth is able to do this. You know, he's had to wait how long to do his own thing after Rogue One?
7 years.
And whatever happened on set where he kind of maybe got pulled out of it. So I'm stoked for him. Hopefully he can keep doing this.
I mean, an 80 million budget feels like they could recoup that and look good.
I mean, they'll recoup it in like 2 weeks. They're going to be making so much money off of this.
That's
thing,
incredible.
like.
Because if you said, looking at the trailer, I would have told you it's 180 to 200 million.
Absolutely.
It looks like that easily.
Oh yeah, and it doesn't look cheap. Like it doesn't feel like they cut corners anywhere.
That's incredible. I wonder what they did. Maybe volume.
I think, who told us it was all on location? The one who was introducing the movie?
Yeah.
So who knows if that's true or not? I mean, maybe it is. Proto also said that he wanted her job. Proto wants to start introducing movies at theaters.
Yeah, so this woman comes up and she just gives like a presentation, or she just introduces the movie, talks about it, talks about how hot John David Washington is.
Oh goodness!
What she's excited about with the movie, kind of get us riled up. And I was like, I could do it. Hey, I think I could do this. Like, who do I have to email? Who do I have to call?
What PR list do you have to be on to start introducing movies? I also love the idea of Proto introducing movies that he just leaves after and doesn't even watch. Like, I have no interest in seeing this movie. I'm out of here.
Just him giving his synopsis in front of a movie would be incredible.
Exactly.
Please enjoy Paw Patrol Mighty Pups.
Every week we give out a free year of Letterboxd Patron. Gets rid of ads. Get a nice banner image on your profile. You can find out where your movies in your watch list are streaming, or any movie really streaming on your favorite services. This week it's Jacob. Let me see. I had this review up here. Can we talk it's about It. 1990s It. We're about to get right into it right now.
Okay.
Can we talk for a minute about how this was aired on TV in 1990? Kids getting folded up and sucked into pipes. The still beating heart of some Lovecraftian monster being ripped from its body. It's a good thing I didn't finish. It's a good thing I couldn't finish this as a kid. I would have been ruined.
See, Tom?
3.5 stars.
See, Tom?
Tom, are you listening now?
Kids get scared.
Can you hear us?
6-year-olds get scared at things, Tom.
Tom got scared and left. He's no longer in live chat.
Tom went to round up the 6-year-olds.
Okay, is there anything else you want to talk about? I think we should get into this feature prezzo, I think.
Okay.
It's time for It. Stephen King, quote, the master of horror, he's been called.
Mm-hmm.
No one has disputed it. It's indisputable. We're kicking off Torment-tober with the 1990 TV movie event, the 2-night TV movie event, It, which is streaming in a few places. So, Proto, what is this movie about?
The town of Derry, Maine has a problem. It has a demon living in its sewer system. Even worse, it likes to take the form of a human clown named Pennywise. Worstly, it likes to eat children, but only if they are good and scared beforehand. Every now and then, it comes out of hiding to feed. It fed in 1960, but not before a group of outcast kids caught on to its plans and injured it in its lair. 30 years later, those kids catch wind that it has returned and is feeding again. Now, to fulfill a promise that they made to one another all those years ago, they will return to Derry and end the demon's reign of terror once and for all. It.
We have to get into this. People have been waiting. Danny, do you have a history with it? Did you sneak a viewing of this movie as a kid?
I do have a history. I have a history with this. As a 8-year-old. I was an 8-year-old when this came out, and growing up, I had a little tube TV in my bedroom. I think I told this story previously. A little tube TV in my bedroom, and I left it on when I fell asleep one night. I left it on the night that it aired.
What?
And I woke up to Pennywise standing in the middle of a lake with balloons.
Oh my God.
And I was too afraid to get up from bed, laid back down under the covers and let the thing finish. And then I just started my day afterwards. So
terrible.
That is my history with it. And I have never revisited this since.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
Fardo, what about you?
That's the stuff of nightmares.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You put that
Literally.
right into a movie scene. Holy crap. I don't have a history with this, so I never saw this. I have no recollection of ever catching any scenes on TV at any point. So this is all new to me.
Oh my God. Okay. I do have a similar history with Danny. This was on, well, I don't have like that cool of a story, but I do remember this being on when I was younger, and I do remember catching glimpses of it probably before bed when it was on. And those are the scenes in that swamp where the dad, where the cop or Pennywise is standing on the water. Like those are those are just like still kind of like weird me out. Like, oh my God, that's a scary looking shot. And I remember the Georgie scene. Yeah. So I remember seeing this too young in pieces. And then I think as an adult, I remember the first night. So like the first half. You know, it aired in 2 nights, the first night, the second night. So I remember that first half viscerally. So on this rewatch, I actually remember like all this stuff. And I guess this will probably lead into my first point.
Lead us.
As soon as I got to the second half of this, I was like, I have never seen this before. I don't think I've ever watched the second half of this.
Incredible.
And I guess every time I've watched this on whatever station would replay this, maybe I just stopped after the first half was on, because like I got to the finale of this movie and I was like, I thought I was like on drugs, seeing stuff on screen. I was like, wait a minute, what is this real? Like this is part of the movie? I don't remember any of this. So I remember hearing people talk about the spider, like, oh, the spider, like they really did a bad thing with the spider. And I guess I thought that the spider was just something that I forgot. Like I thought maybe the tube scene in the first half where the thing pulled the kid through the tubes, like maybe the spider was something in the book that was never in the TV movie. So when that actually started happening on screen at the end, like I was like in a state of shock. So it's just like bonkers for my viewing to be just like so almost incorrect about what I remembered about this.
Interesting.
And having never seen the second half. So I'd be curious for Proto, like what was your experience like for this, watching the very first time compared to Danny and I kind of having those memories? Like, did anything scare you at all in this viewing?
No, not at all, really. I was surprised at how not scary this was. There's definitely, there's creepy stuff in it. And the effects, like I love all the practical stuff, like the different masks and stuff they have on the characters and the look of Pennywise, but I don't find it scary. Like to me, I didn't jump at all in any of the scenes. So it was very tame watching it for the first time.
I like the thought of how different movies are now to like what we're used to versus what was capable of being aired on television in 1990 is just like so fascinating to me to think about, because like would an 8-year-old be scared of it now? Maybe, I guess so, but like I feel like there's so much in media that have not like desensitized, but like I guess like scary stuff is different now. Like this was horrifying to me as a young kid.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
but
I
now
know-
it's like it doesn't hold that thing. It's still kind of like that nostalgia fog of fear almost.
I know if I showed my son, Georgie, he would lose his mind. He'd be
Yeah.
terrified. It would break him.
How did you feel on this feeling, Danny?
It's not scary. I don't think there's anything scary about it, at least for a 40-year-old. But if I can be honest, cards on the table.
Let it out.
I loved this.
Oh,
I really had a good time. Like, I couldn't get over how fun it was. I just had I honestly watching it we watched it in 2 nights, like it kind of aired. We broke it up like right in the middle. And I just enjoyed it that way. I don't know if I would have had the like watching it all the way through energy towards the end, because it is quite long. But I had a good time watching it. I really did. I mean, you give me Goonies 80s vibes with that score. I mean, I'm sold.
yeah. The
right away.
the music's great in this.
He won an Emmy.
I mean, you do the math.
You do the math.
I mean, on my King Timber journey, I've been doing like some of these TV movie rewatches, and I love the format of like a 2-night event.
Right.
Mhm.
You know, like that
pretty
is
fun.
so cool. Like we should be doing some of these books the same way again. Like I feel like we don't have those kind of events. It's like Stranger Things, 12 hours Stranger Things is out. Plan your week accordingly or die. But
Yeah.
like these kind of like get ready, like, oh, the premiere is happening at 9:00 and then we'll finish it tomorrow or whatever. I love that stuff.
I mean, I have seen the new the 2 chapters.
Yeah.
And I think breaking them up into 2 movies is smart. And it is crazy how viscerally different these 2 entities into the It universe are between the 2017 and the 1990. It is wildly different. Not story like beats, but visually. I mean, modern horror is way different. I don't know if I think I enjoy thinking about watching 2017 less now than I did before seeing the 1990 version.
The fact that this is a TV movie, it gives me just like warm and fuzzies watching this, of just thinking of, sitting down. Because I remember watching TV events with my parents, and that like this is a TV movie, but like the production value is pretty insane. Like we all watched that behind the scenes and all of the special effects and stuff they do. I mean, it's the work of a movie, it's pretty incredible. Just the production that goes into this. I actually didn't see. Did you guys see how much did this
They
cost
said it
to
was
make?
double the previous most expensive TV movie ever made. Like this doubled that budget.
Wow.
And I think this was maybe the first Stephen King adaptation as well for TV. Actually, I can't remember when Salem's Lot came out, so maybe that's not true. But the documentary Pennywise, the story of it, or whatever it's called, is like insanely thorough. There's a lot of making of footage that was like filmed on set of that, like them just filming the movie. Like archival footage of Tim Curry in costume talking about the film. I mean, he's also in the documentary, but I was pretty shocked. They had everybody. They talked to everybody for this documentary, 2 hours. So,
Yeah.
Did you guys know Seth Green was in this movie?
Danny did not realize that kid was Seth Green until literally a few hours ago when we talked about it in our DMs.
When Proto said in the DMs, I was like, why is he bringing up Seth Green today? There's no reason to talk about Seth Green at all. And what's funny is once I, asked enough people that I wasn't losing my mind that this is actually Seth Green, when I watched the documentary that we all watched and Seth is there talking, and then it cuts to his character, I still don't believe that's Seth Green. It doesn't look like him at all to me. I don't know why. I'm losing my mind. Every time I saw that redheaded kid, I'm like, that's still not Seth Green to me.
I watched the whole thing and I was in the same boat. I didn't realize it was him. And that's the thing. It's like normally you would, from mannerisms and just the way they look, you would think it would cross my mind, but I guess I just looked right through him. It was really weird.
I know. Those glasses, I guess. I don't know. Maybe because he looked taller as a kid than he does now.
Pro, what's the number one thing you want to talk about for it?
Tommy Lee Wallace, the director of it. I love Tommy Lee Wallace.
Tommy Lee.
I love how he shoots a movie. You know, of course, he made the greatest Halloween movie of all time, Halloween the Holiday and Halloween the franchise, Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. So that's his other picture that he directed. And it just gives me the similar vibes to that. Just the look and feel. Like there's a certain corniness to this that I love. But there's also some like really incredible shots. I was blown away by the dinner scene where they all sit down and have dinner together, and the camera goes all the way around the table as they're having this conversation, like a complete 360. And I was like, Tommy Lee Wallace, is this like, I have to go back to Paul Thomas Anderson. How many homages is he doing to Tommy Lee Wallace?
It all starts with Tommy Lee Wallace. Yeah, I liked the direction of this movie too. He'd also done the sequel that, like, for now it's still hard to find, but we talked about it in the past. Fright Night Part 2. He did the sequel to Fright Night Part 2. Remember, that's like, it's on YouTube, so if people want to watch it, but I recommend that one was fun when I watched it as well. How about in the documentary where they talked about the one guy who like wrote the main script and was working on it for years to try to get it produced? He eventually moved on to something else, Stephen King related, and how Tommy Lee, like, they didn't like the ending of the current script, which I guess involved Bev's dad being the main villain in the TV version. Like, it took the form of her dad. And he was essentially tasked with just figuring out a new ending, like himself. He's like, I guess, we found someone to write it for free, me. So I had to figure out a new ending. And it ended up being like the spider thing that we got. Which is bonkers. Insane. Also, how about he said that like did he say he didn't even shoot some of the character shots or light it? Yeah. Because he had to go to a new project. So he didn't even see how that even looked until it was like on TV. And he was like, it was way too bright.
And he sounded heartbroken in the documentary. Like, I can't, like, he said, if I could go back today and reshoot it, I would.
It was really lit up like insane. Like, it's super bright in that cavern when those characters find his lair. But yeah.
And a few times in the doc, he says, it's a great script, at least part 1.
Yeah, he does say that a
lot. Danny, number 1 on your list?
I'm gonna go with something that it's very little in this moment, but it goes to the production of this movie. When the little kid is taking the shower in the like gym shower,
right?
The stop motion of Pennywise coming through the tile floor, like my jaw dropped. I don't know why that was so amazing to me. Because I think when you think of stop motion, you're thinking like clay puppets and like just like little figures moving around. But for them to like stop motion a tile floor, like opening up, rippling out to where Pennywise can come through it. I don't know why that kind of blew my mind, but it seemed like an S ton of work, but it paid off for me. Like, I thought that effect was incredible. There's so many like little effects in this, but I keep thinking about that stop motion tile floor, like constantly. And then they show it in the documentary too, but I was just kind of blown away by it. I couldn't get over it. I know it's so little to bring up for my first point, but I keep thinking about how cool it was. And it looked really well done. Even in the like Pennywise coming through as it opened up, it didn't look as bad as it could have. And it was really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, that scene, like even with the shower, like, what do you call those things?
The shower heads?
Shower heads.
Yeah. It's like extending out and like causing like a maze for him to like avoid getting out. Even that stuff I feel like still looks pretty good. Like it holds up. And I remember too in the doc, but they talked about how like in the 80s, the late 80s, so many like shops, so many garage effects shops popped up in the 80s. I thought that was so fascinating the way he described that. Like there's just like this influx of special effects houses of just like people making their own businesses and making these movies like that, which I thought was interesting.
Super jealous.
Should we be doing this?
Do we have to?
Let's go back.
Although, to be fair, there was, some negative feedback about the effects of the spider that was tossed out as well. Like, they weren't really happy with how it was used. They weren't really happy how it was shot and stuff like that. My number 2, my next point. I actually love the parts, the flashbacks in the 60s or the 50s with the kids.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was so cool. Like the Losers Club, they're kind of like the outcasts. They don't have a lot of friends, just like, and they eventually find each other. Like the one time where the one kid's getting bullied, so then he meets up with Jonathan Brandis and I think 2 other ones, and they're talking about like, they're talking about building a dam, and like, oh, you guys are building the dam? You're like, yeah, we could do that. And then he's like, no, we. Like they're bringing in this kid that they just met who was bullied and ran from these kids. They're already like bringing him into their friend circle. And that happens a few times in the movie. I thought it was pretty well done. Like the kindness that these kids had for other people that were like on the fringe. I thought it was really well done and still holds up today, I think.
When they protect the kid from the bullies on the like construction yard.
Oh yeah.
What a great scene. Oh my God, they threw rocks at him like nobody's business. And then they were just, did they say they could kill him? Like we could kill you on the spot or something? Basically, like God damn.
Remember when Bev gets hit?
Yo.
And then all hell breaks loose with that kid. Defending Bev.
Mm-hmm. So
we should, I can't remember where we talked about this. I don't know if it was a different podcast, but I was thinking of like the differences in the book. And there's one of the ones that always gets brought up, and they talked about it in the doc, but it's like there's a scene in the book, and if it's like out of context, maybe it is also really bad when you read it, but like they say that there's like a group orgy scene with the kids.
It is
the
really
13s,
bad. It's bad.
13-year-old kids. And in the book, apparently it happens because they want to protect themselves from it and remove themselves as children. So they think that it won't have power against them if they have sex for the first time and are no longer virgins. So they have like this sex orgy scene with Bev. Like even saying it out loud, it's like insane.
Yeah.
I like get what Stephen King is like sort of going for, but like what a strange thing to include in the book.
It's insane.
Right?
Yeah.
Swatch should be headed to his house right now.
They also hint in the documentary that the ending is like way, way different and way more complex and convoluted and hard to even parse through. So that it's almost like, I guess there's a giant spider. That's what we'll do. We'll just do the spider thing.
I gotta read this from the wiki because at the end of part 1, so people are like, well, the book's unfilmable. So what do you expect? When they're in the sewers before they do that first fight as kids, I'm reading this right from the wiki. In the sewers, Bill performs the ritual of Chud in an attempt to face it in the Macroverse, the alternate universe where it's from, where he meets the monster's antithesis, Maturin, an ancient turtle that created the universe. Bill learns that it can only be defeated during a battle of wills. Like, I don't know what's going on there.
The battle of wills.
So yeah, I don't even know what the hell you do with that. There's a space turtle. And I guess it is a spider in the book, but like there's a lot of weird stuff that is not included. I guess for good reason.
Interesting.
Prot number 2.
One angle that I loved was how all of the characters had forgotten everything that happened when they were kids. And that their friend, I think it's Michael, who's calling them up. And then for every single one of them, as they're introduced, like you see them, what they're currently doing, they get a phone call. It's Michael. Hey, it's back. And then it goes, their eyes open wide and they start to remember. And then it flashes back to the 60s. I love that premise that they forget everything and that they're all remembering because they're reminded of it. And then they're kind of coming back together and piecing these memories. Even when they get back together, then like something will happen and it'll trigger a memory and we'll get another flashback. I just loved that angle to the story and how it developed over the 3-hour runtime.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when Bill gets that first phone call, the writer, I love his acting in that scene where it just like all floods back where he has the phone in his hand and he, this stutter starts to come back. I mean,
his
getting
ponytail
that
starts
news
flapping.
getting that news decades later, I mean, I would honestly start probably crapping my pants. Like I had to deal with this again.
Mm-hmm.
Like we barely survived a killer clown that knew our fears and almost murdered us.
Mm-hmm.
And now you want me to come back. I mean, how about the one guy?
He didn't.
What's that guy's name?
Stan?
Stan just ended up ending it. He would then going back. Yeah, I love those are some of my favorite scenes too. How about Bill's ponytail? Should we talk about it? Just get it out in the open.
Yeah, let's talk about it. It's a good look for him. I couldn't pull it off. I know that's a fact.
I'm not allowed to wear a ponytail almost.
Is that what you have it right now?
I know. But like
if Jenna walks in, it's over.
We're finished.
Well, it's a little different. So if I keep it up, it's fine. But if I just have like the hanging ponytail, she's just like, you look like you're on the verge of homelessness or giving up on life. Like it's like your George Costanza arc is starting.
He was like a writer too. He had all those novels. All the novels look like they were themes from his experience with it too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that was pretty cool.
They also were like King knockoffs.
Mm-hmm.
The glowing or the
cool,
whatever it was.
Name one story that doesn't have a writer of horror in a Stephen King book.
Danny.
Yeah.
Next point.
Let's talk about Tim Curry as Pennywise because it is the one thing we kind of come to this movie for, right? To see the clown, to see Curry as Pennywise. I am so bummed on how little Pennywise is in this film. His moments are great. I wish there were so much more. And I kind of wish that he was more a part of the finale. But because I think Tim is so good in these scenes that I'm kind of just like, when we get to moments where it's the kids and, traveling back to Deary and all these things that like, it gets kind of long in the wind. I'm just kind of like, can we get back to Tim Curry, please, as Pennywise? Because every scene, he's just eating it up. Like the scenes where they're flipping through the scrapbook and he's coming through the photo and just such a cool moment. And, anytime like when they finally like confront him in the sewers, it's just a lot of fun. Like he's just was a perfect choice for Pennywise. And I just was surprised at when you finish the 2-night event, how kind of little screen time he kind of had, especially when you get to the second half.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's crazy looking back with hindsight. What a catastrophic decision to use the spider. Like, in my opinion, in full scale. Like, there's another universe where the spider cave stuff is like, look at this deleted, unused footage of what they almost did in the It TV movie.
Yeah,
and I mean, even in filming, you almost would hope that Tommy Lee Wallace was like, guys, I know we're running out of time, but this isn't working. We might need to come up with a Tim Curry
just get
scene.
Tim back here.
Let's use some mirrors. Maybe he shapeshifts a few times, but the kids end up using their wills against him because, like, they whiffed big by not having Curry like at all in the last half hour.
I mean, I would just have, I would have rather just bring the clown back and have him fight him one last time as adults and have him, whatever, Hulk up or just some sort of like bigger, more powerful powers as the clown than that spider monstrosity.
When I tell you I was stunned when I saw the spider come on screen, I was like, what is going on? Yeah. Like, I almost even like missed any explanation of like seeing his true form, or maybe I like left the room for a minute and they're like, okay, let's go to his lair. We think he's a spider now. Also, he's from outer space and he's lived here for centuries. Let's go get him. Because like when they appear at the lair, it's just like the spider walking around. I'm like,
Yeah.
Is that
What is
Pennywise?
They're at his front door. How about his little curved front door? Who made this door for the spider?
And I know in the documentary they talked about like it's very Harry, or what's the stop motion legend that they've referenced?
Hausen.
And like it's legit old school stop motion when the spider is walking around. And I was really taken out of it. Even the fight, like they just push him over and they kick him a bunch of times.
And then eat his heart.
Basically.
Pull his heart out. Yeah. And I think they say it in the doc, like we really whiffed. Like it should have been more Tim. We didn't realize Tim was going to be so good. And like over the years, people fall in love with him. But I mean, like, I don't know, while filming, you can kind of get a vibe, I feel like. He did say they only had 2 days to shoot the spider thing.
Which is insane.
So they probably started crapping their pants at 9 a.m. on day one. And like, well, we just got to get through this. This is it. Like it or lump it. Another thing I could bring up is Georgie. Like just adorable. His scenes are so heart-wrenching to me. This might actually be the core memory where I become against child gore in movies. Like unlocking. Also, Amanda, while watching it, she's like, "Is this why you don't like spiders?" And I was like, maybe I did see this and I blocked it out. But Georgie, Jonathan Brandis' character is like sick, doesn't want to hang out with his little brother, makes him the ship. Georgie's story is so depressing. I wish you could come with me, Bill.
I wish you could come too. She's your boat, really.
Like little Georgie says that he's got his little raincoat on.
Yeah.
I'm going to cry.
I think this is the scene that really messed me up is Georgie. I mean, the great portrayal of Georgie in the scene when you see Pennywise in the sewer drain. But man, this is like so hard, even today, to rewatch.
Georgie, be careful.
Sure.
Feels so bad. Like, I mean, Bill would be just like wrecked with guilt for decades.
Forever.
Trying to figure out.
That shot too is incredible of him chasing the ship, the SS Georgie, down the drain. What a long, great shot with they show it in the making of, but it looked incredible. And the music kicking in just like an adventure. I was like, oh yeah, hell yeah, here we go.
Yeah.
That scene is so iconic that I almost wish that there were more scenes of Pennywise getting kids. More child murder in this.
Right? Yeah. Same.
But in the doc, they do mention how, like, at first when this movie was finished, it was rejected because of what they were saying, like it's showing like children in distress or something like that. But then they appealed it saying, well, it's actually memories. It's adult memories of this happening and not actual children in these scenes. And somehow they like got it approved.
Right.
Like, how about in the doc, they said that there was a deleted scene, at least one actress said there's a deleted scene where the cop brings Georgie's dead body to the front door with his arm missing in his raincoat. And she filmed herself like screaming, reacting to that for several hours. And they never used it.
Show me that footage.
That's insane.
Director's cut. 5-hour cut.
I remember, I think I wrote a negative comment when I saw the remake. Georgie, like you can see Georgie's arm like physically get pulled off, and I was like, I'm out. I don't need to see this. Like this is too much.
But you liked it.
Overall, I thought the part one was good of the remake. I thought chapter 2 was like the drizzling shits, just terrible, catastrophic.
Which when watching because I did not know that it was. I thought that this was going to be separated as well. Like it kind of is, but them cutting back and forth between adults and kids, I thought worked so much better than having two separate movies.
Final point, Perot.
So none of this really freaked me out. Well, none of it scared me, but there was a scene that the scene that freaked me out the most was a scene with John Ritter. So he plays Ben, and he has a crush on Bev.
Oh my God.
So they're going to they're in the bed and breakfast or whatever.
Stop.
And they're looking for something. And Bev comes in, starts talking up onto Ben, and they start making out. And Ben is all in. This is what his dreams are. And then it turns out that it was Pennywise. And you see the makeup smeared on his face and he's freaking out. And then it cuts to like the next scene. They're outside and Bev comes up and literally says the same thing. And they start making out. And I'm thinking, this is great. Like I was like starting to lose my mind. I like stood up straight. I'm like, what is he doing? And then in that moment, John Ritter freaks out too, and he's like, God, what? Like as if he's kissing Pennywise again, but it wasn't. Yeah. I just love that scene. It was so well done.
I mean, what a great way to show like the torment on Ritter, like that he almost like ruined anything happening with him and Bev, because now he'll never know if it's actually her or Pennywise. Yes. So nuts. How about the reveal too? Didn't they like do a slow pan of like Pennywise's pants or something, like as he was holding her?
Incredible. Incredible.
That was nuts.
It reminded me of The Shining when the woman in the bathtub is making out with Jack.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah. God. Kiss me, fat boy. I mean, also the library. We haven't even talked about the library scene.
Library scene is a banger.
Oh, my. Tim Curry having the time of his life.
Incredible.
Scene. Jeez. His laughs alone.
Ritter's back rubs. Did you see what he was doing to her?
Yes.
The fingertips? What are we doing?
Dude, how about when he puts his hands around her neck and her head like he's ready to snap her neck off?
Lock him up.
Oh, boy. What one like random negative thought? I mean, Harry Anderson, amazing character actor. I grew up watching Night Court.
Night Court, baby.
So I've seen him, a ton. But man, he was like so annoying at that one scene where they're on the phone. And he's just like doing his like stand-up routine. And they're all like, putting their hand under their chin, like laughing, looking at him. Oh my God.
I'm not going to lie. I thought it was Jeff Foxworthy for a minute there.
Yeah.
Jash, what's Night Court? Jash says.
Oh, Jash is 20 years late on that.
4:30 syndication in our area. You watch some sitcom taking place at a court. Your life would be changed. Danny, final point.
Final point. Let's see. Let's bring up the most unhinged moment of this movie, and that is when he tries to wake his wife by driving a bike down the road. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. How does he know this will work? Like he's literally like he's to the point where he's trying to kill each other. Like I couldn't believe it. Like what is happening? Who told you that this was going to wake your wife up from the Pennywise dream sequence? I was baffled.
Felt it.
But also, when you watch the doc, Drink, he really did that, and she was afraid that he was going to wreck with them on the bike. Like he legit drove the bike down the hills like that.
That's
with the two of them. I was like, no, it's got to be editing. There's no way that they let their two actors do that.
Going fast.
They were
she's
cooking.
Sitting like side saddle on that bike.
But also she had to sit there like zoned out, like not like panicking that they're going to kill each other.
Yeah, her eyes are closed.
Incredible.
You hit a manhole.
You're finished.
Gone.
Yeah.
You're both in a coma now. How about the montage of him riding? Was it Silver? Is that what he called the bike?
Hi-ho
Riding Silver. How about when he rides the bike up the seesaw and down?
My God.
That is crazy.
I guess we should have known then that he can do anything on a bike.
That's true.
Advanced moves.
I think that was also in the book because I looked at the book wiki and it also ends with him riding the bike down a street to wake her up out of her coma. I couldn't get over her first name of Audra. You ever met anyone with that first name before?
Yes. Casey's cousin's name, Audra.
Oh.
Never.
Okay. Moving on. Let's see. Honorable mentions from me. Richard Thomas, who played Bill in the doc, he looks exactly the same as he did in the movie.
He did.
It's nuts.
Was he in, I feel like he was in some TV show that I can't place. Like, was he in Sliders? He looks like, I feel like I watched something that he was in as a kid, but I can't figure out what it is.
I don't know.
The Waltons.
Stay tuned.
No.
Oh, yeah. Ron says the most famous for the Waltons. Did you read that or did you know that?
I didn't knew that.
Oh.
Sorry.
We haven't talked about Jonathan Brandis that much, but Brandis, amazing.
Mhm.
IMO, gone too soon. George Romero was apparently going to direct this first, but after they cut his plan of doing it in 8 hours down to 4, he just bailed. right
8
away.
hours?
Like, I'm out of here.
I mean, what?
That would have been interesting. I mean, The Stand, I think, is like 8 hours, or it's
Yeah, but you
long.
hate The Stand.
The Stand stunk.
I wonder if more time would make this story better, or is there still just like too much to tell?
It needs more Pennywise.
Yeah, I don't think it is lacking in
about it.
story. I don't think they needed more
Yeah.
time. I mean, what are you going to do? The turtle? You going to do a stop motion animation turtle that created the universe? Out of my face.
Orgies? We're going to do
Get
orgies?
the orgy scene in? I
No.
wish we had a couple more hours to fit in the orgy scene with the 13-year-olds.
Lord. Timestamp, please.
That was the producer of It. Talking about that, the writer of It, the
Sheesh.
television program that wished that they had that scene in. Don't come at me. Stephen King wrote the scene, folks.
Yeah, we'll go for
Read
King.
the book, okay? Don't come at me.
Psycho.
Ritter's apartment loft. Amazing.
That
sheesh.
warehouse.
My God, I need a warehouse loft.
Mm,
Please.
it's a great idea.
Scrolling down here. Bev's boyfriend. Remember the business partner / boyfriend?
Oh,
the
yeah.
abusive
He was like her
boyfriend?
husband or her father.
I need this guy ended.
Finished.
Immediately.
Pennywise, if there's anyone we're going to kill,
Yeah.
Lord have mercy.
I mean, maybe he's so disgusting. It would have been cool if he turned into, I mean, he's better than the spider. If Pennywise turned into him and maybe
Oh,
all the
God.
other evil people in their lives in a finale.
Ooh. Now we're talking.
Well, what about the angle that he goes and gets the bully out of prison and brings him back, or from the mental institution, or
Right,
wherever
yeah.
he was?
Oh, the guy
What-
that couldn't help dropping the N word the whole time?
Yeah, I didn't
What in
understand.
the world?
I felt like it was tied to this town, or I guess maybe he was still in the town. It seemed weird that all of a sudden he could just show up at the prison and get him out of there.
They said that he was responsible. He took credit for the child murders. Like
Mhm.
all the kids that it killed, he was responsible for, or he took credit for it or whatever. Yeah, like why even need the bully? Just kill them yourselves. You'll die if you try. He said that like 10 times at the end of that one scene. You'll die if you try. Can you actually be so scared that your hair turns white?
Mm,
I don't think it's possible, but what if it is?
interesting.
What if it is? I mean, stress and gray hairs,
Yep.
yes, but like immediate scared hair turns white? Come on. Let me know in the comments.
Like and subscribe.
Don't forget to smash that subscribe button and click on our sponsor links. Pennywise in the library, flying up the seesaw, Pennywise in the street,
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Marsh as the old lady, Bev's dad wearing the old lady costume.
That was great.
That was crazy. It's a dairy disease. They all want to forget. That angle, I think, is played up more in the remake, but that was an angle I wish they kind of, maybe
Mhm.
that would have they spent more time on. You know, the townspeople kind of ignoring things, like that old man who ignored Bev getting bullied. That was an interesting insight.
Definitely.
They all go to that like bed and breakfast. They're all like in the same room. Why would you ever separate? You have a
Right.
killer clown murdering people. I'm just going to go in my room for 5 minutes. I'll be fine, guys. You'll be
Mhm.
fine too. Wrong.
Idiots. Once they separated, you knew.
Yeah.
Finished.
I saw strings on the spider.
Did you?
I saw elaborate, thick strings holding the spider up in a few scenes, and not good. So overall,
Talk to me.
I don't know.
love the nostalgia of this.
Mhm.
Love this experience watching it. The spider stuff knocked me for a loop, 100%. I didn't know what was going on. I sat on my couch and just looked at a blank screen for 10 minutes. Having said that, I still had an amazing time watching this. 4 stars for it.
Oh my
from me.
God.
Yeah.
Lord
That's
have
me.
mercy.
Honorable mentions. I also liked how the parents kind of seemed oblivious to what was going on. There was that other scene where Bev is covered in, the blood comes out of the sink and the bathroom's covered in blood. And then her dad comes in and acts like nothing is wrong. Nothing's
Love that.
happening. They can't see it. I love that. And then her cleaning the whole bathroom and like turning it around and it's all covered in blood again.
Oh my gosh.
That would be terrifying. Pennywise doing the front flip into the drain. Amazing cinematic moment.
How about the story in the making of? They made the like prosthetic of, the battery acid on its face. But they weren't sure if they're going to use it. So the guy did the stop motion with his face perfectly fine. And they're like, actually, we're using the mask. So he had to go back and redo everything with the face.
Amazing.
That's wild. I thought the scene where Bev comes back and Pennywise is in her old house. And then she leaves the house and she looks back and Tim Curry's like on the at the front door, like doing the dance. That was hilarious. Not very scary, but it was hilarious. I want that fortune cookie that has the claws.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Coming out. That would be an amazing prop to have.
Bootleg.
Love it. In the doc, I loved how Tommy Lee Wallace was saying like he was like losing control of the kids and they were just driving him crazy on the set where he had to like eventually sit him down and be like, you guys need to be professionals because I'm making a movie here. Yeah, that was great. I had fun watching this too. I thought it was a hoot. Again, I love Tommy Lee Wallace. I love the look and feel, the vibe, the special effects. It just felt like a cozy movie. I don't think I'd rewatch this, probably not for like another 10 years. But I would, if my kids in 10 years are like, hey, Dad, you ever hear of it? Like, all right, you're on. I'll watch it. So I'm at 3 stars.
Okay.
Mamma mia.
Okay. Acceptable. 3 stars is good.
See. Proto just went through basically all my honorable mentions. I love the fortune cookie scene. The fortune cookies were awesome. The head in the fridge, what a bit.
Oh yeah.
My God. That was amazing. Can we stop using the N-word, please? Tim Curry. Yeah, I'm at 4 stars as well. I had a great time watching this. I don't know what it was. I think maybe separating in 2 nights felt really great to watch it. The nostalgia vibes, the score actually kind of gave me like real John Williams, like Amblin kids vibes at least in the beginning when they're in the fallout area making their dam. I mean, there's something about it I was just really connecting with. I had a great time. I really had a great time. I don't know if I'll rewatch it anytime soon. I don't know if it's quite rewatchable at the length and whatnot, but man, it's fun. And I kind of want to rewatch the new ones again just to see what I really think now.
Yeah, I'd be interested to go back to rewatch it. I'm so jealous that you did it over 2 nights. I wish I had done that too.
Yeah, it's a great idea.
It was great.
If I know representatives at Hulu, Disney Plus listen to the show. Listen, we're talking about 2-night event, promote it as a 2-night event. Get families sitting down in front of their TV, getting popcorn, ordering some Wawa pizza.
Oh my gosh.
Get that delivered.
Yes.
And have yourself a weekend. We need to go back. Quote Jack from Lost. Okay, we have, I have a letter and a VM to get to. You can leave us some feedback at 70mmpod@gmail.com. Let me pull up my machine here. Subject line, thank you again. This comes from Brian. Hey, 70MMs, Brian again. I think the last time I wrote was the episode His House. Unfortunately, I've lost all my vision since then, so listening to the show has helped me visualize movies I can't see anymore. I used to draw and practice anime and manga. All my art is on my Instagram. Femtember may be over, but Industry the series shines. Have you seen the series? Industry the series. Is anyone familiar with that? Maybe I'm mispronouncing it.
No.
Thank you always to highlight another female creator, the creator of the series Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, especially in a male-dominated world. Okay. All right. Thank you, Brian. Appreciate you.
Yeah, seriously.
Let's see. I'm also just cracking up because Andy left us a VM and voice memos just include like the location that Andy was in. We know Andy. So, but
Dox him.
like, I think I thought they changed that in iOS 17 where like it removes your location data. But anyway,
We know where you are, Andy.
VM from our dear friend Andy.
What is up, 70 millimeter? It is Andy calling from Orlando. Just wanted to leave a voicemail because this week you guys are covering It from 1990. And I just got to be honest, I'll just cut right to it. I did not like it. I gave it 2 stars on Letterboxd. And just wasn't a big fan. I didn't feel connected to the characters. I didn't feel connected to the kids. Tim Curry, probably the highlight, of the movie. But I gotta say, I mean, comparing it to the remakes, I like the remakes more. They're a bit scarier, and I like the cast more. And overall, just the experience is better in my opinion. Anyways, hate to be a downer, but it just wasn't for me. So I appreciate you guys. Can't wait to see the artwork and what's in store for the rest of this month. All right, love you guys. Bye.
It's okay.
Andy excited to call in and say he hated the movie.
Love to hear it.
The one thing I have like a vague memory of part 2, like it's closer to the book. There's no orgy scene, FYI.
Oh.
But the part 2 like opens up with a hate crime that is from the book. And it's like the worst way to start off a movie. And there's like no resolution. There's no like, don't worry, someone will get payback. It doesn't happen. It's just like the giant waste of time. I think that also set me off when I'm watching it. The master of horror himself. Okay, so next week is my pick. We talked about it at the top of the show.
Gosh.
I did a lot of soul searching about what my pick would be for Torment-tober.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going back to the Hellraiser universe for Hellbound. We need to go back, streaming in a few places. So that's my pick. And I think, Danny, you're next. So what's your pick after that?
After that, we're going to 1963's Mario Bava's Black Sabbath. Anthology horror.
Have mercy.
Very excited about this one.
Pardon?
Technicolor.
We'll be going right back to 1988 for Wes Craven's The Serpent and the Rainbow.
Yeah.
And the Rainbow. Some are saying the biggest month in show history.
Mm-hmm.
There is a week at the end of the month that we have not announced yet. One could potentially surmise that we'll be doing something with our supporters. Maybe. I don't know. We haven't really discussed it yet. I'm just kind of throwing it out there. We'll see. And then, as always, the Ahsoka talk just around the corner for those listening live. For those not listening live, you can download those mini apps. Pardo, any wrap-up thoughts for the start of this month?
I just wanted to give 2 recommendations. I haven't read any of Stephen King's novels, but I did read his memoir called On Writing, and it was amazing. Really inspiring to hear how his journey to become a writer and his process. Such a cool book. So I really recommend it, just hearing about his story as a writer and his journey and how he does it. It's really neat. And then also, October, please watch Halloween 3 by Tommy Lee Wallace.
Yes.
It's my favorite Halloween movie. I think it's amazing. I'm thinking maybe October 1st. I'm firing it up.
Fired it up.
Should we just cover it again?
I was thinking, can I pick this movie?
I mean, I wouldn't stop you. I'm excited to watch it again.
Evan Chat is saying that there are some horror movies playing in Philadelphia this month. Maybe there's another Philadelphia meetup happening.
Oh.
Wow.
Maybe there's some
invite me this
milkshakes
time.
on our future slate. We'll see.
Danny flying in on Halloween. Do you believe?
We'll see everybody next week for Hellraiser 2. 70mm is a tape deck production featuring original artwork provided by Danny Haas. Spiritual guidance and V'ger, the robot who loves movies, provided by Pertalexis. Producer at large, Dale_A. And music composed by Cinematrix. Prints and other merch are available on 70mmpod.com. This episode was mixed, edited, and produced by me, Slim. Support our Patreon for access to our VHS Village Discord to talk movies with new friends, access to our exclusive episodes in the 70mm vault, discounts on merch, uncut episodes, and a physical membership card mailed to you. To check out other Tape Deck podcasts, find the link in the episode notes. And if you'd like to support our friends at Letterboxd and upgrade to pro or patron status, you can do so with a 20% off discount using the links on 70mmpod.com. Goodbye.
This is a Tape Deck podcast.